like know each other. You know, we know each other to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know whether Evelyn is deal with anger. How would I know?
When you around, when you work with people, right?
But that's what I'm saying. You gotta, yeah. I mean, outside. Just put it like this.
No, when you work with people, whether you go to work with people or you go to church with people, you can tell. You may not talk to them, but you can tell.
How?
Because one thing about it, you can read their body language. You can definitely read their body language. You can read their facial expressions. You can read how they do stuff, the whole spirit that's on them. Because it's like sometimes with some people, it's like, is this a happy day or an angry day? You can tell. I mean, because people that don't really get angry a lot, you can really say, I ain't never really seen them angry. But there's some people that you can say, I done seen them angry a lot.
Right. I'm saying you can see it, but those ones, some people, I don't know what they do. Is it subtle? Because I really have to say, situation came up where somebody was dealing with anger, and I was shocked because I would never, ever had thought they dealt with anger, ever.
Yeah, it can be subtle because you got some people that are nice, nasty.
That's okay.
Oh, they nice, nasty. They may not cuss you out. They may not. They nice, nasty. Nice, nasty. Go ahead, India.
See, like this one lady on my job, like, ooh, like 1 minute, like she's happy, and then like just say like today.
Mm-hmm.
So I started all working in the kitchen today with the lady that she supervised the kitchen. So I worked with her in the kitchen today. And then like after breakfast was over with, I went into the activity room. So I was doing the activities with the clients and with the activity person that came in. Like he come in certain days to do like music. So sometimes when he come in and sing, I would join him. So I was in there singing with him or whatever. And she came running in the activity room. Oh, where you at? I need you in the kitchen, right? So immediately I just went in there, went in the kitchen with her, right? But she
Mm-hmm.
switched her whole attitude switched up towards me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of that little thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like she wasn't talking to me. She ain't say nothing to me. Usually, she'll talk to me and stuff like that. But I saw it and I see it and I recognize it. So I know how she operate and I know how she works and I know how when things like little things would cause her to not talk to me. So I can see
Mm-hmm.
like that spirit of anger on her.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do, I just distance myself. I don't even entertain it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say, oh, what's wrong? So and so, so and so. What did I do? Like I don't even entertain it because I already know what it is, what I'm
Right.
dealing with. Not
Right.
even gonna feed into that.
Right. Because, you get to a point when you just recognize that you refuse to feed into it. With anybody, you know how to deal with people. You don't allow someone else's anger to take you to a place. Because sometimes it can be irritating. Like you said, she could be nice to you one day, and then next thing you know, she just ain't speaking to you. And then then nice again. And so angry people get mad over little things. Another thing with angry people, oh, come on.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, I still say you have to be around that person. You spend time with them. Like she said, the lady on her job.
Mm-hmm.
I know that when I dealt with anger back 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
people around me knew it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I was hiding it. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody that would interact with me knew that I dealt with anger at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, like I said earlier, a friend of mine, she told me if I ever treated her the way that she saw me treating other people, I wouldn't have to ever worry about her again. But I ain't try to hold it in. I ain't try to hide it. Because I ain't know what it was. It was just who I was. And I wasn't trying to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
I just lashed out at you.
Yeah, you was one of those ones that was expressive with yours.
Oh, okay.
Some people not as expressive. Come on, Pastor Mitchell.
Well, you just said what I was going to say. All anger doesn't look the same. It's not always uh, It's not even always outwardly
Exactly.
or loud, or you hear it. It's not even always with words.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be your whole behavior pattern change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like your whole mood
Mm-hmm.
change. One day you up jolly, like the next day you ain't really talking to nobody, or your whole pattern change, or just certain things that you people. A lot of times, people that's angry are in denial.
Most, yes.
They don't even
Definitely.
realize that people around you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And that's why I said there's three different types of anger. You have the rage, you have the resentment, which is the inward type, the type that you just don't see as much as somebody that will go off on you, cut you out, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and then you got the righteous indignation. So it's all different. And so another sign that a person that deals with anger exhibits is impatience. A lot of times, angry people can be very impatient. Impatient is having a tendency to be quickly irritated or provoked. Quickly. Anger reduces tolerance for the weaknesses and the limitations of others. Go to Ephesians chapter 4.
So it's a lot of angry people out there driving.
Oh, yeah. Road rage is major. Ephesians chapter 4, we was already there, but I want to look at the New Living Translation. Ephesians chapter 4, the New Living Translation. And India, read that for us in verses 1 through 3. Again, a lot of times angry people are impatient. They don't have a lot of patience with people. They quickly irritated and provoked. And sometimes, especially in churches, people come and they got different types of issues, right? And you got to have patience dealing with people. But people can do stuff, and if you deal with anger, it could just, rub you the wrong way. But you got to know this word, and this has to be something that is deep in the heart of God's people. Come on.
Yeah, I want to say something before that. That's like an area where I ask God to help me, because I tend to sometimes get frustrated, like on my kids. Just say on my oldest sometimes, and some things can come out, as being angry, because that's how he perceives it sometimes, But and I also sometimes I'll check myself. And I'd be like, God, help me, because I don't want to sound like I'm frustrated or I'm upset or angry. So I need God to help me to learn how to have patience and to talk in a soft manner, and explaining or sharing with my children, so they don't receive it like I'm being angry or
Right.
upset, So that's how, when I said I deal with anger, that's in the way how sometimes anger will try to, what I'm saying, to come over me. It's that area with my children. So yeah, but I read Ephesians the fourth chapter, verse 1.
That's right. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1 through 3 in the New Living Translation. And again, people that deal with anger are often impatient with people, quickly irritated or provoked. But as children of God, this has to be in our hearts, and this has to be our demeanor and our the way we think and the way we operate. Come on.
Therefore, I, a prisoner for serving the Lord, beg you to lead a life worthy of your calling, for you have been called by God.
That should always be on the forefront of our minds, who we are. We are children of the Most High God, called by God. So we need to live a life that's worthy of the calling. He's begging them. Lead a life worthy of the calling, not one that people could easily talk about and they could tear down and be negative. You know what I'm saying? People are always watching. We are examples. But it say, lead a life worthy of your calling. For you've been called by God. Okay, so know who you are. You are a representative of God. Come on.
Always be
Sometimes. Does your Bible say sometimes? Does it say every now and then? It say what? Always. Okay, go ahead.
always be humble and gentle.
Okay.
Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love.
Because guess what? You got faults. So how are you not, how are you not going to have patience with somebody else and their faults? But if you think you ain't got no faults, see, some of us walk around like there's absolutely nothing wrong with us. We have no faults. So nobody has a need to be patient with me because I got it all together. But it's saying be patient with each other. Guess what? Make allowance for each other's faults
Yes.
because of your love. God's love makes room for our faults.
Right.
It's the love of God, his unconditional love, his unfailing love. And again, when you're dealing with people, especially in the church, people are on different spiritual levels. So somebody that is straight up carnal will respond to a situation different than somebody that's mature. Somebody that's carnal could come into church, had a bad day, and their response, you could speak, hello, or they could just like, hey. And you can make that personal. Somebody that's mature could have had a bad day as well, but they know, let me check myself because ain't nobody in here did nothing to me. I need to get my own attitude together. I need to be kind to people. But that's the difference in maturity levels. So sometimes if a person is young, they're carnal, they ain't going to always do things, respond right, or whatever the case may be. So we have to be patient with that. Come on.
Make every effort to keep yourselves united in the spirit, binding yourselves together with peace.
Make every effort to stop division. Make every effort to not allow your anger to cause separation, to cause other issues. Because the truth is, again, like you said with the lady on your job, one day she's nice and talking to you, the next day she ain't got nothing to say to you. And the truth is that type of stuff could put a lot of stuff in the air. Instead of being a team that's united, there's division. And it's division because of unchecked anger every time you turn around. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to be patient with each other. We got to make room for each other's faults. Amen. Impatient people sometimes often demand instant responses to their instructions, questions, whatever it is that they want. And they'll get upset if it's not, responded or dealt with immediately the way they wanted it to be. And so another thing, another issue, another visible sign of people that are angry is a raised voice. It's funny. My husband is soft-spoken, right? He's not a loud person. And even when he does get upset, his voice, it may never get to a high pitch, but it has a different sound. There's a different sound to it, and I can tell when his voice begins to change like that. But a lot of times people will even deny that they're angry after their voice is raised. It's like, you wasn't talking like this 10 minutes ago. You don't talk like this on a regular basis. Now that a nerve or something has been touched and you're bothered, now you done went up a couple of octaves. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, because like my son, he like, Mom, why you angry? Why you? I'm like, son, I'm not angry. I just want you to hear where I'm coming from, but I'm not angry. And like you said, because sometimes the tone of your voice, it's not gentle, it's not peaceful,
Because the bottom line is, you can usually tell when a person is angry, again, because their voice elevates. It goes up. And the truth is, if you address them, again, about the tone that has shifted, they're going to often deny that anger is the reason why. No, your voice is elevated because you are mad. You are angry. Go ahead.
Well, my voice, I don't know, cause Khalil would say to me, we'll be coming home, and I'll be in the car talking to somebody, and he'll be saying, he'll be saying, "Why you so loud?" So, it's really weird. It just came to me. I'm not angry with that person. It's just that my voice get loud. But I think now I'm just thinking about it. You you in the car, right? And you have it's connected. So I'm thinking, I'm just thinking now. I'm thinking I'm loud at some point because I think they can't hear me. He said they can hear you.
Right, right. I mean, but when you think about it, a person can be loud and not angry.
Oh, I can be loud and not
See,
angry.
you got people that are loud and not angry. I'm not a soft-spoken person. I'm just not a soft, whispery type of person. But loud does not always equate anger for everybody. There's a difference. Because a person can be loud, but you could tell when they're loud and angry. Because there's still going to be a difference in the sound and the way it's coming out and the expression. What you laughing at, Pastor James?
It's funny to me that, people who are loud, they refer to people that talk normal like they whisper. Ain't nobody whispery. Ain't nobody who walk around whispery talking. We talking normal. You just loud.
Amen.
That's why I was laughing.
Yeah, but that's a sign. And you say, and I'll be talking to some people, and I'll be on the phone with them talking. I said, okay, slow down, lower your voice, lower your voice. But I mean, the reason I was saying this is because I said lower your voice. Because one thing about it, I'm not going to continue to talk to that. I'll let you get yourself together and we can finish the conversation. But it's like lower the voice. And for real, in that moment when a person is in the midst of their anger, it's almost like hard to stop them. It's like they're gone. Just gone. Go ahead.
And I was I was talking to this young lady. I don't know whether it was in phone, text. Anyhow, I was maybe anxious because I wanted her to get something done, And she said to me, and she's very soft spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Is the house on fire?
She's trying to slow you down. Why you so anxious, huh?
That was funny to me because she was like, as riled up as I was, she was like, is the house on fire?
Right. Yeah. Another sign, glaring eyes. Oftentimes when people are angry, you can tell with the eyes. Because it's one thing, I can look at you like this and I'm good, and it's another thing. It's like that if looks could kill. The eyes. When a person is angry, it affects how they look. Even when God spoke to Cain and he said, I may be getting one of them mixed up, but anyway, the brother that killed his brother, he spoke to him and he said, what's up with your countenance? Because he was noticing that there was a change in his face and how he was looking. So when a person is angry, it affects how they look. And sometimes, here it is, sometimes you can actually see a demonic spirit in them when they are in the midst. It is a whole different change. Now, again, everybody that gets angry don't necessarily have a demon. But there are people that deal with anger that definitely has a demonic spirit of anger that you can see it in their eyes. That spirit will manifest and you can see it in their eyes because anger is an open door for the enemy. There are many things that open up the door to the enemy to demonic activity. Anger is one. And so anger affects your facial features, because you can stand there and have a conversation with someone and they're angry. They don't like what you're saying, and you can see their jaws clenching. Their jaws is clenching. And their mouth is closed, but it's like you can see it. That's anger. Even though they're like, okay, you can see all that in the face. Penetrating glares, frowns, again, tense facial muscles. Guess what? If you're light in complexion, Malik and Pastor James, no, I'm just playing. They're the lightest ones in here. But sometimes, some people can get angry and their skin tone can turn. I mean, if I turn red, you better watch out. But sometimes they could become so flustered, get so red, the skin tone, which is, and they could still be saying, no, I'm fine. No. Bulging veins. You got some people that's talking, and next thing you know, they got the veins that's bulging in the neck, or they got that one in their forehead that, does whatever, all of that. It affects your face. And then another thing, hurtful words. People that deal with anger often do not apply what's written in this particular passage of scripture that says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Most people that really deal with anger a lot, they do not think before they speak. Their anger speaks for them. And so they will say all type of negative stuff out their mouth. So hurtful words will come out, whether it's in the form of constant criticism, making humiliating remarks to you, name calling, because people will, let me tell you something. This generation, the youngins today, I don't know what y'all problem is, but I have never, ever been in no relationship with no one with a man is going to just be calling me out my name. Men today call females bees like it ain't nothing. And this the person that loves you. They talk to you out their mouth sideways. My thing is, I can be mad at Pastor James, but what I'm not going to do is degrade him with degrading terms. But give her the mic. She wants the mic. But that is so common. And the thing is, because you allow it, it becomes a pattern in the relationship every time someone is mad. And then they're going to talk to you out their mouth all kind of way. And then it was like, I was just angry. Well, guess what? We're going to all get angry, but you better learn how to deal with it better. Come on, and then Malik. Pass Malik the microphone.
Yes,
Vernon.
Lord. The same co-worker I was talking about, I was in the kitchen with her, and she was on the phone talking to her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got off the phone and called her daughter out her name, called her a B. I said, and she was just, the stuff she was saying out her mouth, I said, son, don't you call mind you, this lady is 57 years old. I said, don't you call your daughter out your name, out her name? I don't care. I'll call anybody. I said, my. I said, for a person to call your child a B, it's
An
crazy.
angry person.
Angry person.
An angry person easily will call people out of their names. Go ahead, Malik.
No, I was going to say, as far as, I think, and it's not only being common, it's actually being, like, out of anger. I think it's being more normalized now, like, it's just becoming conversation. Like, I be hearing I don't know if the Generation Z or they could be, I don't know if they're millennials, because I'm 31. But there's
Mm-hmm.
just some people that they be like, it's actually just in the conversation, they be calling them female dogs. It's just like out here, the guy be calling, like, that's my eyes. And I'm just like, it just sounds nasty to hear it, but it just in conversation. It's not like he even it's not dis he's not disrespecting her. She didn't make him mad. It's just in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just being normalized. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think also, I think then they do it around children. It's like then people hear, so it becomes it's then they believe it's okay to
Mm-hmm.
do. It's nothing wrong of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like we are brought up to be examples, and I just think it saddens me to hearing from how it used to be out of anger. Now it's just becoming just a civilized conversation.
Right, right. It's a pass it back to Vernon. It's definitely a part of ongoing conversation. And the truth is, I know when I was in the world, I used to cuss like a sailor. And I could talk to you and I could be cussing like a sailor, but even in me cussing like a sailor, I'm not cussing at you, meaning I'm not calling you out of your name in the midst of an angry moment. You know what I'm saying? Cussing is cussing, but it's something different when people get angry. They will say certain words to you. And again, I done had one conversation with one young lady, and it's like, he calls you that because you've allowed it. You know? Then it's the whole kiss and make up cycle over and over again. It's ridiculous. And come on.
I used to work for a garage door company, and the owner is a woman, um, and she has a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were on the phone talking, her and her daughter, and her daughter asked her to pay a bill for her because it was overdue and it was going to affect her credit. So she said no, and the daughter called her everything in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here, I'm sitting there in the office, I'm looking at the woman, and her face, it changed, but she didn't curse her, from what I remember. I don't think she cursed back at her, but her daughter called her the B word
Mm-hmm.
and said so much. I mean,
It's-
I looked, excuse me, I'm sorry. So I looked at her, and I'm like, you not going to reach through that phone or make an attempt to reach through that phone and choke that child? Because it made me mad, because I'm like, I'm not used to that coming from my child. But then I realized how she raised her child,
Mm-hmm.
which was she did everything to make that child happy.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever that child heard no, she went off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, she didn't do that. I don't think she did that to her father,
Mm-hmm.
but she did that to her.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that almost set me off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you got to set boundaries with people,
Mm-hmm.
especially with your children. Because,
Yeah.
because the first moment they get to jumping off, you have to control yourself and not hit them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that as I was coming up, I couldn't cuss my mother out.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it with my father, my older brother, my younger brother, and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be pain all day. But you have to, you just can't let people talk to you. And when I saw that, I was like, there's no way you let this child come back home.
Yeah.
And it was a continuous thing. I had to leave the room.
I've never seen what I see now with children, and I'm talking about, nowadays it's even with the little ones, I'll be honest, but you got people that deal with so much anger, and when that anger takes over, it's no respecter of persons. So it's like, you could be the one that birthed me and do everything for me, but when you make me mad, now you're going to experience my wrath. You're going to experience my rage. I'm going to cuss you out. I'm going to say all type of MFers and Bs and everything to you. And guess what? It doesn't, you may be grown, okay, because I'm grown, but that's still my mother. There's things, I mean, I don't cuss, but when I used to cuss, I didn't cuss around my mother, even as an adult. Some people that cuss, they think because they grown, then they cuss around adults. To me, that's disrespectful. I'm an adult, but you're my elder. And so there was limits, but there's no limits today. So I know so many mothers that get cussed out by their own flesh and blood children until it's unreal, and it's just too common, you know. But they are dealing with major anger issues. And then it moves into the realm of being abusive. Come on.
But you know, I'm thinking. I think about the parents. If that adult child can sit around and in a conversation with people around and use profanity, right? And the parents don't say anything. I don't understand that. So it makes me look at the parents kind of cross. It makes me wonder, are the parents doing the same thing?
Sometimes it's allowed. Sometimes it's allowed. We dealt with that many years ago with our own son and his upbringing when he was at his mom's. The way they were raised is that as kids, they could cuss. It was okay for them as children to cuss in the presence of their parents while they're talking or whatever. But then when he started cussing at her, then she got upset. And we always thought, you want to allow him to cuss. But it's almost like you can cuss, but as long as you don't cuss at me. And it's like, you just opening up a can of worms, and then you want to try and control it. When you have given this child, and that's how I was raised. We always were able to cuss just around our parents. That was normal. I'm talking about he was a child, so.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you was talking about you.
No.
Oh, I could really say that the devil is a lie.
No.
But you know what? Before you go on, even with Jamia, I would never, ever forget when one of my neighbors came to me and told me how Jamia was cussing out in front of the house. I was in the house. Somebody was in the car. She was cussing. And I asked him, I said, you sure? No, I was shocked because I never heard Jamia ever cuss.
Right, because.
And I didn't believe I said, can you describe her? The little skinny one. I said,
Oh, yeah. I mean, when they young and in school, again, kids be cussing. What bothers me, and this ain't a Bible study on cussing, but, you know, even on, you be at we was at a pool, Brinkley Manor, when we used to live over there one time. And we was out there, and there was some kids at the pool, little teenagers or whatever, and they was just cussing. And I had my kids out there, and I had an issue with it. And I said something to them. Nowadays, you can't really say nothing to them. You might get killed for saying something to them. But I was so disturbed. But what bothered me even more is that they have no respect for adults. No respect at all. Go ahead.
You know, sometimes I wonder if it starts when they're young with the parents, because a lot of times there's no boundary. You know, kids can be on same level platform as the parents. There's no, you know, I grew up, kids had their place in a sense. Like they wasn't even allowed around adult conversation. And I'm talking like this is before Christ and all that. You know, I didn't grow up in the you know, Christian home to the point where, you know, those values was like put out there strongly. But we had, you know, kids like what elder folks were saying, she never heard Jamia cuss. Well, that's a good thing. But that don't mean she ain't cussing though.
Right.
So we had respect for authority even in
Right.
our mess.
Right.
When I was coming up,
Mm-hmm.
we could be cussing up a storm. Oh, here come Miss Smith. Y'all be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
We would stand up, let her pass, whatever. How you doing, Miss Smith? We spoke. we were respectful heathens. No, honestly.
Yeah.
We had respect for all authority,
Mm-hmm.
But these kids, like, they look at you as equal,
Yes.
and because if they looking at you as equal, at home, that's how it is.
Yes.
So when you out in public, you can't even correct children.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a situation,
Yeah.
So it's like, that's just the climate that we live in. And I'm wondering, like, the things that sometimes we play with. When I say play with, like, we have our kids doing certain things that's just out of order, and we think it's cute until they get old. Then you want to draw the line and say, I'm the mom or I'm the dad. But they've been doing this all their life until a certain point.
Right.
Now they, they cussing up a storm. They looking at you like, I'll knock you out or something like that.
Yeah.
Kids,
Are different.
it's different.
Definitely different.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say when you said something about the conversations, like with kids, like when we were growing up, we weren't in the conversations, adult conversations, and that just brought memories to me that like my child, like my daughter, she's a young child, and so they become sponges, and so like certain like if a person on the phone and they talking and I'm hearing what they saying, I'm like I don't want my child to be up under that. I don't want my child to hear those conversations. Even when it comes to music, like my cousin was playing this music, and they was cussing and everything, and it was loud in the house, and I wanted my daughter to come out the room because I don't want my daughter to hear that music because she may pick up something and then may speak it. So I want to protect those innocent ears, even when it comes to to movies or whatever, like music, to conversation. I don't want my child to be up under you talking and having this grown folk conversation. Because my daughter, she can listen to it, and then she can start speaking those things. So protecting her innocent ears. Even my son, I got to figure out what he's listening to, what music he likes, because those things do plant seeds. So we got to be very mindful. They're innocent.
Yes.
Let them stay innocent.
Oh, yes. Amen. And so, again, another thing that angry people deal with is hurtful words. And we got to remember, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Another translation says, words kill, words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You choose. And so angry people oftentimes don't realize the effects of their speech. They don't realize what it actually does to people. And for real, oftentimes they don't care because they're driven by the anger. They feel justified. And so because they spew out hurtful words and complaints, hatred, ridicule, and rejection over and over again, guess what? Their apologies mean nothing. Some people, it's like, okay, they done cussed you out. They apologize. He done cussed you out. He apologized. She done cussed you out, and it becomes a cycle. So guess what? When they do it and they apologize, it don't even mean nothing. Because it's like, you going to do it again. So because it's an ongoing issue, the apologies mean nothing. And the apology, please understand this. When something comes out your mouth, you can't take it back. Your I'm sorry does not remove the impact. Let me share this story with you, a brief one. And so, dealing with anger. There once was a little boy who had a bad temper. His father gave him a bag of nails and told him that every time he lost his temper, he must hammer a nail into the back of the fence. The first day, the boy had driven 37 nails into the fence. Over the next few weeks, as he learned to control his anger, the number of nails hammered daily gradually dwindled down. He discovered it was easier to hold his temper than to drive those nails into the fence. Finally, the day came when the boy didn't lose his temper at all. He told his father about it, and the father suggested that the boy now pull out one nail for each day that he was able to hold his temper. The days passed, and the young boy was finally able to tell his father that all the nails were gone. The father took his son by the hand and he led him to the fence. And he said, "You have done well, my son." He said, "But look at the holes in the fence. The fence will never be the same. When you say things in anger, they leave a scar just like this one. You can put a knife in a man and draw it out. It won't matter how many times you say, 'I'm sorry,' the wound is still there." The little boy then understood how powerful his words were. He looked up at his father and said, "I hope you can forgive me for the holes I put in you." Once it come out your mouth, you can't take it back. It does great damage. And an apology, again, doesn't remove the scar, doesn't remove the stench, doesn't remove, "I can't believe you called me that. And you say you love me. How can you call me that?" It does something. And so, when you are angry, you got to understand you do have the ability to control what comes out of your mouth. But there's a passage of scripture in the Bible that talks about it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but it's what comes out of him. It came out of your mouth because a lot of times that's how you feel. It's like a drunk man that speaks the truth. Same thing with anger. That's in your heart. It's in there. And you got to deal with it. Another thing is explosive actions. When you think about it, anger puts extra force into simple actions. Explosive actions. My husband would say, "There you go, walking hard." See, I normally walk regular. But he know when I'm angry. He know when I ain't said a word, but guess what? I'm hard walking. You know, you can go to the bathroom like you normally go to the bathroom, but you angry, this door is going to shut a little louder. I could be in the kitchen, it's going to sound like all kind of stuff going on because the cabinets is slamming and some. That explosive stuff that can take place. And a lot of times you know exactly what you're doing too. It's like, I was one that would deal with anger at one point in time. Sometimes, I did something one time and my husband, he was like, "You are crazy." And then afterwards, we finally had a conversation. He said, "I want to know why you did that." Because I took the pot, I took a plate, and I just banged it. And he was like, "Why?" And I said, "Honestly, because I was trying to keep from hitting you." That was the level of anger that I was feeling. There's been times, that anger will get you to a particular place because I wanted to, but because I wanted to. I was just that angry. You got some people explosive, you know. Yeah. Come on, sir.
One of the worst things is when you will say something. I'm not talking about you, pastor, but I'm just saying it as in general. When you say something to someone that's foul,
Mm-hmm.
and you apologize for it,
Mm-hmm.
but later on in life, you remember what you said
Mm-hmm.
that particular day, and it hurts, and you still feel that pain because it's like I said that to this person,
Mm-hmm.
I said that to my wife or to my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and you still feel that, and you just say to yourself, I wish I hadn't have done it that day.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now just imagine how your spouse feels,
Exactly.
just out of the clear blue sky.
Yeah.
They just remember that.
Yeah.
And they want to say something to you, or you want to say something to them, but no matter what you say, like you said, no matter what you say, it's there. That hole can't be filled.
That's right.
So you are absolutely right when you say you give power, life, and death is in the tongue. When
Yeah.
I'm at work, people ask me how you doing this morning. I'm like, I'm blessed. I said, I'm doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be lifted.
Mm-hmm.
But then the rest of them are like, man, I really don't want to be here. And they just start going on with their problem. I had to walk away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So words have power. Even
Yes, they do.
Even years later, it has power.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And one thing about it, if you deal with anger, because I was one that would deal with the physical stuff. The physical. I didn't care what your size was, whatever. That anger would have me just want to lay hands, and I ain't talking about praying. But the reality is with the words, because when you know what you may deal with, right? It don't mean that words don't come to your mind. I've always said, if I had this thing that went across my head and you can read all the words that came to my mind, man, I probably wouldn't be dealing with nobody. Everybody probably be done with me. I'm just being honest. But it's like, it come there and it comes out different. It could come, a thought could come to my mind, and I'll say, okay, that's fine. But trust and believe, that ain't what came to my mind. And sometimes stuff will come to your mind, but you got to know how to deal with things that come to your mind. So, who was about to say something? Okay.
I was gonna say, I never been a person that would hit somebody or fight someone. I never been in a fight, ever. But I did became a little physical in my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And twice. I did something twice. I knocked him upside his head and threw the glasses and everything. I did it. And I never found myself doing anything like that, but I did because of anger. It was because of the things that he have done, and it causes me to become somebody that I never was.
Mm-hmm.
And that I knew that it wasn't right and wasn't of God or whatever. So, yeah, I was very surprised that I became that way, and it was a little scary, and that's why I had to do certain things so I would not do something that I'll regret.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. When you find people that bring out the worst in you, sometimes you got to make some adjustments. Sometimes you got to make some adjustments. Come on.
When you're angry, and I'm thinking about back those days when I was angry. Whatever that person did to you, and sometimes, I would be angry with people that didn't do anything to me. They just did something I didn't like. But it's almost like you just want to hurt them as much as you possibly could with words.
Mm-hmm.
You want to just cut them.
Get back.
You just want to cut them. You wanted to cut them so bad that they'll never ever forget what you said. I'm telling you.
And guess what? And that ain't coming from the Lord.
No.
We got to recognize that stuff that come, that ain't the Lord. That ain't the Holy Spirit. It's another spirit that's putting that stuff there, and that's when you got to cast it down.
Yeah, But see, the thing about it, even when I was doing that, I was saved. I was not. I was saved. When I
Yeah, just because you saved don't mean you ain't
But
gonna deal
that's-
with anger. Be angry, but what? Sin not.
but what I'm saying, I was saved then. But now, like you were saying, somebody that try to take me there, I back off.
Got to.
I back off. I either don't deal with them or I just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you think about Moses. Moses would get angry quite often with the people. I'm Moses sometimes. But Moses would get so frustrated with the people sometimes. I'm so sick and tired of y'all complaining. You act like you want to go back to Egypt. God done brought you out here, and now we ain't got no water. We ain't have this. And so he was so upset. God said, speak to the rock. Out of his anger, he hit that rock. Almost like, now get the water. Just go and get the water. You know what I'm saying? He was angry. He hit that rock, and that anger cost him. It cost him because God was like, let me show you where you were going to go, into the promised land. But because you did not obey me, you let your anger get the best of you. You done ruined that. Guess what? You don't know. You don't know. Your anger can take you there. It was, again, when I got locked up, it was because of my anger and my physical stuff. You know, I was guilty. You know, if fans about it, I couldn't say nothing. But guess what? That anger, you know, you could do something one time and don't nothing happen, and do it again and don't nothing happen, but you never know when something gonna happen. But when anger is leading you, you ain't thinking. You just letting it lead you. And so we got to be mindful of that. When you think about an angry person can be physically abusive, hitting people. You know, you shouldn't put your hands on nobody, but hitting people. And I'm a firm believer. I'm not one of them ones that feel like a woman can put her hands on a man and a man can't put his hands on her. Nobody should be putting their hands on each other. Because I'm the type of person, and most people are, pain is pain. And when you feel pain, you respond. At that moment, you ain't thinking about you a woman. But then women, we want to do stuff because in relationships, we could get stupid. We want to block doors. You know, the person want to leave. No, you ain't going nowhere. You know, just we could be real stupid. You know, we could be real stupid. And then, you know, we feel like we could put our hands on them. And then if they respond back, oh, my God, I can't believe you hit me. And I'm a woman. You know, but that physical thing, hitting, guess what? Kicking. You know, kicking, you don't need to put your feet on nobody. Pushing. See, because that's out of order. Your anger can make you push somebody. That's wrong. But pushing, slapping, choking, punching, look, smushing you in your face, all of those things are wrong. And let me tell you something. You dealing with somebody that's exhibiting that stuff, it's a warning sign. It is a warning sign. Don't ignore the warnings. Don't ignore the warnings. I mean, I just had that moment that one time when he said, you is crazy. But at one point in time, that was a norm for me. But I had to get that in check. When you think about it, and we're about to go on a few, but another thing is relational breakdown. Let me explain this. An angry person will usually close their heart to those individuals who offend. Meaning, offend means to cause displeasure or anger, to annoy or upset. So an angry person will usually close their heart to those who offend them or hurt them. And so this type of rejection is demonstrated by silence. They won't talk to you. by avoidance. They will avoid eye contact with you. They would avoid talking to you if they can, because guess what? They are offended. They upset. And so these type of individuals, they will go from interacting with you to ignoring you, cutting you off, acting as if you don't exist. And they can do this and be around you on a regular basis. Sometimes they can live in the house with you. I told you my youngest daughter used to deal with that anger thing, and she done did wrong and come in this joint and, like ain't gonna part her lips to say nothing. I'm like, you the one that did wrong. You the one that's in trouble. But that anger thing, any other time coming upstairs, mommy, and all this, now come in the house, go straight in the basement. Ain't got no words. But again, you trying to figure out the relational breakdown. It will cause division, and something ain't right with them. The amazing part is we think people can't tell. We think people really can't tell when we tripping with them. You can even ask them, you good? Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. But it's like, I knew one young lady, I could tell when she would have an attitude. Anytime she would come into the church, and I deal with this as a pastor. I deal with people. I got to, have patience with people's faults. And so any other time she would come into church and it's all huggy, lovey-dovey, all the time. But when she was angry, come in, won't even say nothing to me, sit down in her chair. What she would normally do, she just wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? The interaction. And I knew, I'm like, just angry, walking around with a temper tantrum. Let me say this, I can't stand grown temper tantrums. See, as adults, we don't fall out on the floor, but that's the type of stuff we do. I see you, but I'm going to avoid you and go the other way because I'm angry with you, and I don't even want to say hi to you. You was about to say something? Who was about to say something? And then we're going to get on up out of here. Give it a mic.
I was gonna say it's another lady on my job. She's older than I am. Like we had connected and everything, and she would come to talk to me, about her problems and stuff, and then like all of a sudden, like she just started switching up, like she changed, like she don't come to me and talk to me no more. Mm-hmm. It's just we don't have those conversations no more. I'm like, dang, what did I do anything? Mm-hmm. Did I say anything wrong? What did I do? So I have that thought. But then God also showed me other things that are spirits that I see on her. Mm-hmm. And then maybe God is just protecting me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But she like switched up, and so. Yeah.
And sometimes when you learn people, I think about, we was talking in one of the classes talking about shepherds know their sheep. As a pastor, I know the sheep that God has sent here. Sometimes when you're dealing with people, you know them. You know your sheep. And sometimes sheep got other kind of issues going on. And because they got other kind of issues going on, this is part of how they flow and operate. I told my husband the other day, though, I said, today, I said, man, sometimes I wish I could use carnal weapons. But I know our weapons are not carnal. I said, because sometimes you just want to, And I told him, I said, but that's just the flesh. That's just the flesh. That's the flesh. But that flesh be, sometimes, yeah, that's just the flesh. But you know people. But even though you know them, that don't mean you don't want to go there sometimes. But you already know responding the way they respond is not going to help. Be angry, but sin not. You could do something that make me very angry, and I want to tap that eye. But I know that ain't going to bring nothing good. So, all right, y'all. We're going to end there tonight, and we'll continue when we come back. Thank y'all for being patient with my little raspy voice. Thank y'all that was able to tune in online, but I think it went off again, so amen. Oh, it may have just been buffering.